Boom.
We're rolling.
We are live. This is happening. All right, you guys.
You don't even have your microphone on or next to you.
We're live. It's happening.
We're back.
Can you believe it? We're not back. This is a first.
Oh, this is right. This
We're
is
not
different.
back, you guys. This is a first. This is
a welcome.
This is a welcome and thank you at the same time. So this is a new podcast, you guys. This podcast here is called Sofa Survivors.
Sofa Survivors.
Because we're a couple sofa survivors over here, and
that we are.
What is important about this podcast is you too can be a sofa survivor by following along with whatever episode that we're on here. So we're going to start right at the beginning of the TV show Survivor, hosted by Jeff Probst, who's an absolute legend in my mind.
My name's Jeff.
And I am Tom Sofa.
I'm Mike Tomato.
And this is actually a Sofa Tomato production.
Bam.
Called Sofa Survivors.
Sofa Survivors. I like the name.
You like it?
I like it.
Guys, I did not tell Mike.
Yeah, this was a shock. It was. I learned the same time you did.
We brainstormed a little bit on the name.
The name you wanted was taken by Barstool Sports.
Kind of, yeah. It was taken by Barstool, and it seems like we're kind of going to grow some sort of big competition against them.
No free ads.
No, it's not. It's us against them.
No, but I'm not going to say the name.
Correct.
No free spawns.
Yeah, no. But, and then there were a couple others that I was interested in, but once I thought of Sofa Survivors, it just felt like that was just perfect for exactly what we're doing. Like who I would say, like, kind of this is more of my project that I'm into, but
absolutely. But I'm here for the ride.
It's going to be a fun ride. I think we'll just see what happens here, you guys. So yeah. And Mike has never seen an episode of Survivor. I've seen.
Can't say that anymore.
Up until this season 1, episode 1 of Survivor, he watched, I believe, in the last 2 days.
Yes, I watched it Thursday.
I watched it this morning. And I've also not seen season 1, episode 1. I have seen season, 11 or 12 all the way through to I'm caught up to the present time, which is 47 seasons. For those who don't know, but if you are on the web looking for a Survivor podcast, our odds are you are a Survivor nerd. Nothing wrong with that.
Just enough is wrong with that.
Not a dang thing. There's much worse things to be nerds about. So let's start right at the beginning.
Let's get into it. Episode 1, get into it. Season 1.
Mike, what'd you think of Survivor as just like a newbie?
So obviously Survivor's been around for 40 some odd seasons.
Yep, 47.
24, 25 odd years.
Yep.
And it's obviously existed in the zeitgeist of especially American culture for a long time.
Oh yeah. And there is Survivor South Africa. There's okay.
I don't doubt that at all. I imagine it's in every country.
Just throwing it around, that's all.
And so I heard of some things that have entered just the common vernacular of the council has spoken.
Mm-hmm. The tribe has spoken.
The tribe has spoken.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
The moment when they write their names about who they're voting off,
mm-hmm.
and they look to the camera, say a little blurb about the person.
Yep.
That's been spoofed countless times.
It's a classic play.
It's great TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clever reality TV, and it did shape the way reality TV is done.
Sure.
And has been done since 2000.
Yeah.
Because that was, I think, June of 2000 was when it first aired. It's in my notes.
Yeah, you wrote that down, huh?
It's in my notes.
Wow. I did not note when it aired, but I do know that it's been a while, so that's crazy. 2000. Wow, we were tiny youngsters at that point. Tiny chunksters, I should say we were.
4 years old.
I was chunky.
I was 4 years old. Haven't turned 5 yet.
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed is this is in a tiny Malaysian village.
So I wrote, we are in the South China Sea.
Yep.
In Malaysia.
Tiny Malaysian village.
And they, I guess I'll figure it out later as I watch the series.
Right.
But I'm curious to how it started because it was very chaotic. It was a very chaotic start to the season, to the episode, where they're on this one boat. All the cast members, how many? 16 of them.
16. Yep, I got that right here.
Are all on this boat as they're making their way to this island off in the South China Sea of Malaysia.
True.
And they are on this boat. They're given select amounts of supplies that are in crates, boxes, and what have you.
Correct.
And they have to throw it off the boat into these rafts.
They're given 2 minutes to grab as much off the boat as they can.
Yes.
To get onto the rafts.
Crazy town.
Isn't that a wild thing to start off?
It's terrifying. Because it goes on these bamboo, like, manufactured rafts. And they are, like, hours away from the island because it took one group 2 hours and it took another group 3 hours to get to the island. That's insane.
Listen, this is Survivor. This is what you signed up for. You signed a waiver. I'm sure of that.
So what's her face? I wrote her name, Ramona. She's throwing up by the time they get to the island.
Ramona. Okay, so I took the time to write down every single person and every single person's job.
Ooh, okay.
So that we can really get an idea for who we're working with and how these people think.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Survivor. It's all these regular folks from all over the place that are completely different. And then there's also a couple characters that are very similar too, that are like it's just very, very well done in my opinion. And that's why I'm a big fan of, especially of the mid seasons of Survivor. But so I'm just going top to bottom here. So there's 2 tribes. Okay, did you note the two tribes?
Tongi.
The Tagi tribe.
And Pagoma.
The Pagong tribe.
Pagong.
The Tagi tribe is in orange, and the Pagong tribe is in yellow.
Yes.
And our first person is Sean, who's a neurologist.
Yes, nipple pierced.
Nipple pierced. I noted that as well.
Yeah, nipple pierced.
Yep, dude loves some stuff pointed in his nipples. Next we got Kelly, a river guide, which is quite the gig. I believe they said she was from Vegas, which is an interesting place to guide some rivers, but I'm sure it's fun out there.
But you would assume that application that job
that's okay, don't worry,
comes with a sense of survival skills.
Yep, I'm sure. I'm sure that it's a great reason to go out and do Survivor.
I think a quality idea for a cast member.
But at this point, there hasn't even been a season of Survivor. None of these people know what this actually is about to become.
These are the guinea pigs.
And that's probably one of the craziest things to me. So after Kelly, we have one of the loudest characters of the first episode. We got Rudy, who is a retired Navy SEAL, and you really get to know Rudy in the first episode.
They really do focus on Rudy a little bit. He's not a liked member of the tribe.
Yeah, I mean,
or at least the girls didn't like him.
It's tough. We're gonna get into how that gets down,
breaks down
as we get through these characters here. Next, we have Sonia, a sweetheart, cancer survivor.
I wrote literally in my notes, Sonia, icon queen.
Couldn't agree more. She is a cancer survivor and a musician. I'm gonna bring it up again because it's on my list, but when she sang a dang tune, I was just like, oh, please keep her around.
That's what I wrote. That's when I wrote icon queen.
Oh, so good.
Because she deserved it. She's an icon. She's a queen.
Next is another guy who kind of makes a splash, so to speak, in the first episode. Richard, the corporate communication consultant.
So I was telling my mom about this idea, this podcast that we were doing.
Okay.
And she goes immediately when I say, we're doing season 1, episode 1, she goes, is that the one with Rich on it? And I'm like, so this guy's going to become infamous.
He might be around for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Something to think about. That's amazing that your mom knows that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, great thing about Survivor, this will give you and your mom another thing to talk about.
Sure. I didn't know that my mom was a Survivor fan.
There you go. You never know until you know.
When it was on TV, they did watch a couple of the episodes.
I mean, if you're talking about Survivor and you say one thing and she goes, "Oh, Richard," she knows. She's not playing games. After Richard, we have Susan.
She's
got my heart. She's a truck driver.
Susan's the Southern Belle, right?
She's from Wisconsin. She is not a Southern Belle, I believe.
Which one was the one that's like out in the bush? Was that Susan? One of the girls said like, "Well, this is like we're out in the bush." It could have been Susan.
I think that was Susan. I wrote down. I think that's the person who said that they really liked was really excited about rat soup.
Okay.
And I wrote that down who that is, so we will get to that. And
okay,
but we'll confirm who that is down the road. And then we got Dirk, who's a dairy farmer.
Dirk, also a Jesus.
We will get to. I wrote that down. That was a very interesting part to me. He brought the Bible.
Which you need Jesus when you're out on your own.
If you're gonna survive, why not have a little bit of Jesus?
If the Lord can get you to it, He can get you through it. And wow. Dirk understands that. So I respect the Jesus. I respect the appearance that God had made, even though I wrote in my notes, Jesus freak.
Jesus freak. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was wild to me. But
because they woke up and they're like, "Where's Dirk?" And they're like, "Oh, he's over there with the Bible."
Yeah, you just find that's one in every 10 to 15 people is a Jesus freak these days, and back then especially. So,
well, in America, absolutely.
As we go through Survivor, there's always going to be one every season or every other season.
I think that makes sense,
and it happens
because it's a very common personality type in the United States, in particular.
And I could see somebody who really there's like a religious person who's looking for a Survivor type like awakening, or like
I suppose
not knowing what they're getting themselves actually into, perhaps.
Yeah,
especially in the first season here.
But I can see it being like maybe they would look at it as like a platform to proselytize their beliefs in a way, because that's what the gospel's for. You got to spread it.
Totally. And one of the things that comes with Survivor, especially throughout the show's time, is people love to talk about like how, oh, this was such a journey for me, and like I've changed so much, and they like really talk about that type of thing, and that becomes kind of like a icon of Survivor. But I don't think that happens too much in the beginning, even though I will say I believe the person that goes home in this first episode does give a little I wouldn't change a thing, blah, blah, blah,
right.
type of little story there. But anyway, and then we got Stacy, who's an attorney. That's the last member on the Tagi tribe. Wow, that took a while.
Stacy.
Hopefully we can get through the Pagong tribe.
Okay, we can talk about Stacy again later.
What do you got? You got it?
I was just gonna say Stacy gets gooped and gagged at the council.
Oh, she does.
She gets gooped and gagged. It's pretty great. I loved that shit.
So I love that you call it council. So for the sake of Survivor, it's tribal.
Tribal.
It's okay. No, I get it. No. You don't have to change it. I'm just.
But I should get the right words. I should get the right words.
You will eventually. You're a first timer. It's okay. So is everybody else on the show.
True. We're figuring it out together.
Exactly. So we got the Pagong trial. We got Jervis, the YMCA b-ball coach.
Right. Yeah.
Love him. We have Colleen, the advertising student.
Okay.
We have BB Anderson. Love him. Real estate developer.
You liked BB?
No, I did not.
Okay. I did not like BB.
No. But boy, does he have heart, and he's trying to get shit done.
He does. He do.
I will tell you what I liked about BB. I have one note, but I'm going to wait to give it to you till after we get through all this.
Okay.
After we have BB, we have another notable icon, Ramona, the biochemist.
Ramona. Our nauseous queen.
Crazy to me that somebody would go on Survivor who gets like motion sickness.
Bold. But maybe in her,
you don't know.
Maybe in her defense, like they probably didn't tell her like, oh, hey, you're going to be floating in the ocean on a raft for 3 hours.
Yeah, I guess. I also think about, I don't know. Either way, she's in it for the long haul. It's wild. It's crazy stuff. Next character we have is Gretchen, who's a pre-K teacher.
Okay.
Little kindergarten, little pre-kindergarten teacher. Brad, an Ivy League student. Don't worry. You know, we spent more time with the Tagi tribe than the Pagong tribe in the first episode, so we'll get more time with the Pagong. After Brad is Jenna, who's a single mom and a student.
Yes, Stacy and Jenna become besties, I believe. No,
they're on different tribes.
Doesn't matter. Probably not. They're two girls that become besties.
Maybe
Stacy and someone else.
Stacy and Kelly. Stacy, Susan.
I think it's Kelly.
Could be. We'll find our way. And then after Jenna, we have Joe, the health club consultant.
Okay, we have two consultants on this program.
You do. You got the corporate communication consultant, who is such a consultant.
Very consulting.
Do not like him.
He proves my point that consulting isn't a real job.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
He is the prime example of consulting is fake.
He gets over there and he's just like, all right, we all got to get together and sit around. And I think if we just talk about it, and everybody else is just like, well, we could be doing things while we talk about it. He's like, yeah, but no, we need to all be sitting around and let's communicate.
It was insane to me.
Dude, I understand that like, this is not your job. It's not corporate.
And the way he sat up in the tree
waited
for everyone to start doing shit. He's just like watching. It was wild to me.
And then he's like, all right, I'll get down and I'll join. How can I help?
Oh, God.
How can I get involved? Anywho. So, from then on, we're going to go into, you know, after the intro, after they're kind of starting to get settled. I got my first note after all that is Rudy thinks he knows it all early.
Yes. Yes, he does. Because he's a Navy SEAL. So he thinks he knows how to do shit, but doesn't know how to start a fire. Mm-hmm. So for a Navy SEAL that doesn't know how to start a fire, it sounds like you weren't a very effective Navy SEAL.
Oh, yeah. And Kelly was very annoyed.
Kelly hated Rudy. Out for blood against Rudy. And in Kelly's defense, Rudy is kind of a prick.
He for sure.
It gives prick vibes because he's going to become buddy with Rich, as we kind of found in the teaser of it and like what they've kind of said in confessionals.
Yeah.
And I did chuckle though when Rudy was just like, you know, that guy Rich, you know, he knows his stuff, or like he's a strong guy. He's fat.
He is fat though.
But he knows what he's doing. And I'm like,
people say the same thing about me. I get it.
Okay, Rudy.
It was so funny when he threw that around.
I did laugh at that.
Yeah, well, he's a Navy SEAL. He literally was getting up early and doing push-ups in the first episode.
Too much, Rudy.
And he's like 20 years older than everybody else, minus Sonia in the group.
Exactly. Well, I thought the Pagong tribe, which is the yellow one.
Yep, yellow.
They seem to be younger than the Tagi tribe.
Maybe. I mean, BB's old.
Because, like, they had Sonia and Rudy.
Sonia and Rudy, that's it.
Versus BB and who else?
That's the thing about Survivor. Like, some tribe is going to be a little stronger and some is going to be a little weaker.
So there was an advantage, I think, in the first challenge that went to the more young tribe.
Totally.
But
you're going to see some challenges where it's just like, or some seasons if you can make it that far, where there's like people that win immunity 80% of the time, and it's just like the only way that they're gonna win is the one that he can't win, and then they have to vote him out that one time.
Sure.
Type of thing.
Okay.
So yeah. So moving forward, Richard is just sitting around. Dirk's getting annoyed with Richard. Mm-hmm. I have written down right here, Richard is so corporate and so cocky.
So corporate, so
he
cocky.
Got the double C's.
I work with a Richard type of person almost every day at work.
Yeah.
And they're the fucking worst.
Brutal.
They're brutal.
Tough as
just
nails.
Because they graduated from a business school that you've never fucking heard of, but they think you're supposed to. They think they're God's gift to like any occupation, any challenge, any project that you have to do.
Guys like Guys like Richard never win Survivor. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
I'm not surprised by that, but they get far because they do create kind of some drama that makes good TV.
Yeah, we'll see. I have no idea. I hope he doesn't make it far.
I think he will. And I think he might come back for other seasons, because if my mom was like, oh, that's the one with Rich, like something must happen where this becomes like an infamous character.
Interesting.
And my mom did say he's the one that everybody hated right out from the get-go.
Yeah.
Which isn't hard.
Yeah, we hate him. I thought it was important to note that there was like kind of a fun Tarzan-like song while they were building. I thought it was very, very good. It was like, it was great. It had little spoon sounds.
I didn't catch that.
Vibing to it.
I didn't catch the Phil Collins experience.
I really wish that I had the capability to like throw that sound in between this thought and like wherever we go next.
Oh, but like do some editing.
Yeah, but we're never gonna get that far.
I mean, you can edit.
I'm not like that. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Anyway, but, it's cool stuff.
So when did Tarzan come out? Did you look that? Do you know?
No.
Because if Survivor is CBS, it's not ABC.
Correct.
Okay, so never mind.
Yeah, I mean it was just Tarzan-like. I'm not saying it was
right. It wasn't
straight up Tarzan.
But I'd be curious if they were like capitalizing on that.
Yeah, not sure. Loved
audience.
it though. Loved it. I want more of it.
Sure.
And there was a little bit more later, but just not as good as the first time. First time they really dove in. And then we talked about it already, but Sean has a nipple piercing. That was next on my note. That's an important note.
I think that's a very important thing to note when men have their nipples pierced.
Sonia, I already mentioned it. She sang a lovely, lovely tune.
I thought it was cute.
Did you write down the name of the tune?
I didn't, but it was like, it's very satirical.
Bye Bye Blues.
Bye Bye Blues.
Bye Bye Blues.
Yeah. Bye Bye Happiness.
And then I wrote down Rats to Eat, because I was shocked.
I was shocked by that.
That is we're eating this and we're about it.
So I don't think we saw them eat a rat, but we did see them catch a rat.
They for sure eat rats.
Okay, that's nasty. But
they're cooking rat. Like, what do you think they're?
I didn't see that happen. What I did see was them catch a rat, cut it in half, I believe, and then put it in a fish trap.
Okay.
And then set the fish trap, but I don't believe they caught any fish. We don't really see them eat in episode 1.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
We see them get water from the watering hole.
Mm-hmm.
We see Ramona and BB, right? Or Ramona and Rudy.
Ramona and BB.
They find the watering hole with the watering map. So at least I will say, like, I'll give Survivor credit where they at least give them fresh water to some regard.
Yeah.
Because if they had to, like, literally find fresh water, that would be nuts.
No.
So I'll give the producers that grace.
I think these, like, they didn't used to, but I think these days you get sunscreen, they're hooking you up.
Well, there was a quick scene where they were putting sunscreen on each other.
Was there?
Yeah.
I must have missed that. So going on to the Pagong tribe, what's going on with them is it leads with Ramona getting motion sickness. That's the first thing that happens to the Pagong tribe.
Throwing up.
Negative vibes early in that way. I'm going to say the one thing that I really liked about BB, it was the shirt that he was rocking. Did you catch the shirt that he was wearing?
Was it a Grateful Dead shirt?
It was not a Grateful Dead shirt. I am a Grateful Dead fan. I'm wearing a Grateful Dead hoodie right now. But no. It was a shirt with like his nieces and nephews on it and his kid.
Oh, that's wholesome.
It was just his family's on his shirt. It's a white t-shirt with just
like
pictures of
like a print.
Yep. And it's great. It's just so good.
Very wholesome.
So BB does have my heart a little bit. Just shirt alone. Shirt alone.
It's got my heart.
It got my heart a little bit. And then BB and Ramona, you already mentioned, they go off to be the water getters. They, make a little joke that we won't tell them how to find it, so they stick around type of thing. That's some psychotic shit.
But it's kind of smart.
It's kind of psychotic.
It's kind of smart.
Yeah, I think that they'll be able to find water. First night, the rats are all over everything.
Rats are everywhere.
Keeping you awake, moving you around.
They're saying they're chirping in their ears and like doing shit, crawling on them. See, one thing that I was surprised about, and I'm not a Survivor person. Like I said, I've never watched this before, but I did used to watch the show with Bear Grylls where he would like go out and like try and survive Man versus Wild or something. Is what it's called. But I was surprised that nobody in that group thought, except BB later, to build a platform to sleep on, like to build something where you're elevated off the sand of the beach to sleep.
Yeah.
Later on, it looks like BB does try to build something like that.
Yeah.
And he complains that nobody's helping him, but he's doing it in the hottest part of the day.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And so, like, I was shocked by that. Like, personally, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
In that situation, I would build something where I'm off the ground so there's no snakes, because we did see a little scene where a snake was creepy crawling around. Yeah. And, like, you're in a jungle-type environment. This shit will kill you.
Definitely. I think that it is... It's very season 1 vibes that they would pick a spot that has... that, like, they probably didn't know there were rats at night a lot of the time. Like, they just were like... I just think about that they were trying to sell the idea of Survivor in the room, and they were just like, we'll just drop them in the middle of a village and just see what happens.
Wait,
and
so
like,
you think production didn't know the rats were going to be there?
I think so. I think it was just so early in the show.
Are there not like, rats in like later seasons?
Now it's all at the exact... It's like Fiji every single year.
Oh, it's the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same place.
Okay, I imagine they probably bought an island for this show.
No, they have a contract. I believe up until maybe the 50th year, I think.
Okay.
And then or 50th season, and then I think that they're gonna go to maybe a different place. I'm not sure, or they'll have to redo the contract or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, interesting.
It is interesting, intriguing stuff. Anywho, Ramona is getting very paranoid. I noticed. So motion sickness and paranoia.
Yep.
She wasn't ready, I don't think, for the
show.
No,
I don't think she was, because she's the biochemist, came from a laboratory type environment. Yep. I think this is very much out of her wheelhouse, and I don't think she's going to last.
You know what? I think it's interesting you say that, because to me, and could be a little bit of previous knowledge just to how kind of the show works, I feel like she might fly under the radar for a while, and because that she's kind of smarter, she's going to kind of, maybe figure it out.
She'll learn how to scheme
maybe
the game.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen the season.
Because I don't think a lot of them so far have been early on in the first episode, but I haven't seen moments where they're like, this is a game. I'm here. This is my strategy. We got to strategize on how to get these people out. That really hasn't come into play yet. Alliances haven't really built.
I agree.
But
very, very just raw.
Right. And I think that comes with being the first episode on the first season, where you don't kind of have that knowledge of the previous seasons to know what strategy works and like what the show looks for, that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
But I did find that interesting that like they are in a competition show to win $1 million. That's the prize, is $1 million in 2000.
In 2000.
That's a lot of money.
Traders, it's only 250,000.
Right? Drag Race is only 200,000.
Crazy.
And it used to be 100,000 for the longest time.
Yeah.
So $1 million in 2000. I'd be curious to what that is like inflation wise, but I would say it's probably like 5 million.
For sure. Inflation's a bitch. Anywho, so BB, this is the next day. This is after that first night of the rats. He's saying others are lazy. He's calling people out for being lazy.
He's calling them out.
He's trying to work. Gretchen is over there being a sweetie to BB, honestly, and like kind of taking him even when he's being kind of rude and difficult.
Yeah,
she is still being sweet and trying to like help and not leave him be the only person working, which I thought was kind of nice.
I thought that was nice. She definitely tries to talk him off the ledge when he is working by himself in the hottest part of the day, which allegedly they all agreed to not work because it was the hottest part of the day.
Yeah.
But BB in his, true, I don't know, white man self, white class working man self, he was going to get that shit done.
Right. And he was
going to complain the whole time.
The whole damn time. Okay. Some kind of like another couple funny notes. So back to the Tagi tribe. We mentioned that they were eating rats. So it's Susan who's talking about the
rat soup.
Rat soup because she's the truck driver.
Yep.
And she goes, nothing wrong with eating rat. It's just like eating a squirrel, which I thought was a rather funny, interesting thing to say. But I wouldn't know what eating a squirrel's like. But I imagine that squirrel, rat, they do fall in the same category of
they're both rodents
type of meat.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a fair thing to say.
I would agree with that. And
totally fair.
I would assume that these rats on this remote island are pretty organic. It's probably not very like crazy.
I'll just say
shit happening.
If it was cooked right, I'd eat a rat. I'll just say it.
If it was cooked right,
I'll just say
I probably would too in that situation.
I've eaten a duck.
I've had duck many times in my life. Duck is great.
Yeah.
Duck can be a delicacy in some instances.
I've had elk.
I've had Venice, which is deer.
Sure, you're fancy.
And then, that's or venison, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
Venice.
Venice.
I've had the city of Venice in my mouth. It was very wet.
Wow, freak.
And I've had alligator.
Okay, gator guy.
I've had frog.
Okay.
So
big frog.
I've had snails, escargot.
Yeah, you're an eater. We get it.
So I'm a foodie.
Okay, back to Survivor. Gretchen uses BB's glasses to start a fire.
I thought that was genius.
Not only is that genius, that becomes a Survivor thing.
Using glasses to start a fire.
It sure does. It does happen in a couple other seasons in the future.
Very smart.
And I did not know that it happened in the first episode even, and that makes me happy to see.
Yeah, so Gretchen definitely, in my book, won the Big Brain Award.
Yeah,
on episode 1 because that was a power move.
Well, didn't BB say that he knew how to do it, and Gretchen was like, "Yeah, me too," and just like, "Let me use your glasses."
I don't know.
I think
I don't remember hearing that.
But anyway,
and then I know the other tribe tried to do the old scrape wood friction fire method to no effect.
Right. So, let's see here. Next, tree mail gets introduced by Jeff.
Tree mail,
which I thought was something that you get used to happening throughout the show. Tree mail, first time ever.
Is tree mail something that continues throughout
forever?
Tree
forever.
Mail.
Tree mail is, if there's news, if there's guys, we've got tree mail. It's
okay. Oh my god. Okay, so this actually makes so much sense, and maybe
why?
Maybe it comes from Survivor. So I grew up watching, America's Next Top Model.
Okay.
That kind of competition show.
Sure.
And there's always a moment in the show where it's like, we got Tyra mail. And then in Drag Race, back in the earlier episodes, before it was kind of a problematic thing to say, but back when Rue would say oh, she got she-mail, and it's a play on trans people, she-mail, but that was later found to be a little bit too insensitive.
Bam.
So now it changed to she done already done had hers is.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was giving me those flashbacks.
Tree mail, yeah.
Especially to Tyra mail.
It's funny stuff. So I thought that was cool that tree mail was. Tribal council gets explained. I just had a note personally. Wow, Jeff looks so young.
He does look very young.
Unbelievably young.
Yeah, very young. Very much a supple man.
The immunity idol gets introduced, which I thought was pretty cool looking. It's got 3 masks that are glued top to bottom on top of each other, and it just looks pretty cool. Bright colors. I think
it was interesting that he was touch this, and I'm like, it's just a fucking thing.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah, he was
that.
He's like, I want you to touch this, and I'm like, okay, Jeff, it's not that serious.
I want you to feel it. That's crazy.
I mean, building it up obviously to be this thing that you need to achieve, or you desperately want.
Oh yeah. Next we have the challenge.
Yes.
I kind of just basically you want to get your raft back to the beach while lighting all the torches.
Yep, that's the idea.
Each player must have one hand on the raft at all times. And, you know, good thing it's the first challenge ever because I thought this was a terrible challenge.
It was not very exciting.
I thought this was one of the most boring challenges. I thought it was the least competitive challenge. I thought that it was not fun to watch. And Tagi lost. They got to go to tribal. They lost because Sonya fell.
Yeah.
And
our queen.
She's to blame, which is, gonna happen. People are gonna fall.
She's however old cancer survivor. Give her some slack, but this is Survivor.
So yeah, terrible challenge.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, I thought it could have been something if there was more elements to it, but just the fact that you all have to hold on to this raft that has fire on it, and then you have to light. I think it was only 8 torches in the water,
it was terrible.
And then 4 torches on the beach, and that's it. And then you had to light the I don't know, demigod looking figure, and then you win. And so it obviously went by very fast, and there was no strategy to it. It was just a pure speed and brute kind of force challenge, and I did not really enjoy it.
I thought it was the least interesting part of the whole show.
I agree.
Just personal opinion. So yeah,
and I would have much rather have just seen them figure out how to get food and build shelters than watch that for I think it was 10 minutes of the episode.
I would have rather watched them play tic-tac-toe against each other. If you want,
honestly,
if you want to know the truth, I would have rather watched them.
Sandcastles, build sandcastles.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That would have been. I bet Rudy can build a sandcastle.
Rudy and BB.
Yes, 1-on-1 sandcastle for $1 million. That's the show. So then we got post challenge here. Post challenge is all Tagi, not Pagong at this point, because Tagi's the one that's going to tribal. They're going to council, as Mike would say.
To council.
Dirk brought his Bible and dives in. This is at the point where.
So I wrote down Dirk, Jesus freak, homosexual ?
Okay. Dirk, Jesus freak questioning, maybe.
I
think firm believer.
I just get gay vibes.
Just you got the gaydars going.
I get gay vibes.
What's the noise the gaydar makes?
Oh girl.
Okay. All right. Oh girl.
Oh girl.
Oh girl. Okay. Well, keep that thing on because we got more
also
seasons
a
to
wrist.
come.
You also have to throw a wrist in there.
Okay. So make sure if you're listening on, a streaming podcast thing, make sure you watch the YouTube too, so that you can get the so you can get the oh girl. You want to see it?
You got to see it
one time.
Oh girl.
Anyhow, we digress. Rudy and Rich get along. Not surprising, as they are unlikable, and that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I would say the terribleness of the two of them really did solidify after episode 1.
Definitely. It seems like Rudy is the only name that's being said post challenge, just because he's annoying.
Yeah.
Aside from trying to blame, and I mean, I guess they did kind of lose the challenge because Sonya fell, but that's the only minor thing that they had. But everybody was like, my vote's Rudy. Rudy sucks. Rudy sucks. Rudy sucks. And I think that is a normal thing that happens in Survivors. They vote off the people that suck before they vote off the people that suck in a challenge. And there's nothing wrong with that. And at this point, I did think that Rudy was going to go home.
I
hoped he would.
I did hope that he would go home over Sonya, because it was really between the two of them. It seemed like It was either Sonya, who everyone kind of thinks cost them the challenge, or Rudy, who everyone seems to really just dislike him as a person and his presence in the tribe.
Totally.
And I get that. If he's a show off, put a disciplinarian douchebag, thinking he's the Navy SEAL and he's going to run this tribe like the military, I wouldn't want that person around either.
Right.
Because this is a TV show, buddy. This is not the U.S. Marines. This is not the U.S. Navy SEALs.
Exactly.
Go do your push-ups and shut up.
There's levels to it. I agree.
So,
it's kind of a short little post challenge. There's not really a lot of back and forth.
Not a lot of drama.
Not really. And then they go just straight to tribal. Everybody goes and they get their torch lit. And, a classic thing, fire represents life in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when your torch gets snuffed, that's when your life is out. Your game is over.
I thought it was interesting that, but we didn't see it, but it was alluded to that they take their torches with them after tribal and they keep them.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought that's what they were doing.
No, I think you get to tribal, you grab your torch, you light it.
Well, because he said that you get fire.
No, a flint. You get flint.
You get a flint?
I believe you get flint, so
okay.
Then you can make fire. Jeff then proceeds to ask what happened at the challenge, and every single person hits you with some version of, oh, we were so close,
mm-hmm.
da, 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 da. And I was just like,
no, you weren't.
You really, it was not that close. You lost for one reason. It just is what it is, and that's okay. And fact, that's kind of what all that happened. Literally, there was zero time to discuss who should go home. There no time at all was taken to talk about who was going to go home. I was disappointed in that, and they voted right away. If I could show you, Mike, a tribal council from this past year, and you would go, oh my God, that is 15 times longer than this tribal.
So in the tribal council session, like they all deliberate.
They really, really go in.
Oh, really? And like, it's
and
like, you should go home. You should go
and
home.
They're, oh yeah. And like, while one person's talking, 2 or 3 of them are behind you, and they're like, oh, I'm going to vote here. You're going to vote there. And I'm going to vote here.
Okay. See, that's the drama, the scheming.
Oh
the
my
dealing,
God. It was very bad.
That keeps you coming back.
Yeah. But first episode vibes.
Yeah. They're very
first. But I mean, I'm just stating the fact. That's what happened.
Yeah. Cause we already kind of got in their confessionals before the tribal council.
Right.
What was going to happen.
Kind of. Yeah. And they're kind of going, we already said this, they're kind of going back and forth between, do they vote out the weakest link or do they vote out the most annoying? Richard doesn't know the subtle reason as to why he voted Stacy, which I thought was like, I thought ridiculous. That was hysterical. He was literally like, I'm voting Stacy for subtle reasons that I don't even know. And I was like, you don't even know the reasons, but but you have subtle reasons, and you can't, like, it's just like, dude, you are so like, you think you're up here and everybody's down here. And I was just, ugh.
I actually thought that was my favorite part of the episode.
Oh my God.
Because that to me is so gay and I loved it. I loved that petty, unnecessary, just like hatred or, that dislike of a person just because of their energy or just because of their presence that you just don't like. So I loved that. And then Stacy's reaction where she like kind of looked at like in the corner and she was like, are you fucking serious? I loved that.
Meanwhile, he's the one giving off the worst energy.
Oh, Rich is the worst.
I was dying. I thought that was hilarious also.
But I think that's going to come back as like a sense of drama where Stacy's going to be like, so who the fuck voted for me? And Rich is going to be like, me, bitch. And I want that. I want that kind of fighting.
Yeah. So that I agree with you. That was the best part of Tribal for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the whole episode. Then Rudy gets 2 votes early because he's annoying as hell. Sonia gets a vote for falling in the challenge from Rudy and a few others. And the first person to get voted off, sad to say, is Sonia. 4 votes to Rudy's 3. And Stacy had 1 for subtle reasons that we don't know.
That we don't know
why.
It's a just cuz.
It just is.
It's a just cuz vote.
She probably just, breathed wrong or something like I used to do to you in English class.
I can yes. I could see it being like a moment where Stacy was just like, Rich, you gonna help us? And he was just like, this bitch, I'm done. I'm the communicator. I'm the the leader of this tribe. I can see that.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. So now that we've gone through pretty much what happens in the episode, we're gonna do a part of this show that I'm gonna call something. We'll figure it out down the road. But I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, Mike.
Okay, hit me.
Who's gonna win it all?
Who's gonna win? I think I want Susan to win.
You got Susan the truck driver to win it all.
Yeah, I want Susan.
Okay.
Or Gretchen.
Whoa. You get one pick.
I can only pick one?
One pick. There's
Susan.
Only one winner of the whole show.
Susan, my bush queen.
Susan, truck driver. Homegirl loves squirrel. Homegirl's down for rat. Next question. Who's going to go home next? And you get two answers to this because it's either going to be somebody from the Tagi or it's going to be somebody from the Pagong.
Yeah.
And, you get to pick one of each, and we'll kind of revisit this.
So
next
from
episode.
The Tagi tribe.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the names.
Okay, please.
You got Sean, Kelly, Rudy, Sonia's gone, Richard, Susan, Dirk, Stacy, and it's not Susan because she's your winner.
Right.
Sean, Kelly, Rudy, Richard, Dirk, Stacy.
I think Kelly's going home.
Kelly is getting the axe next week. And then the Pagong tribe, and I understand that this might be a little bit more difficult to think because we got a little bit less action from this side of the tribe.
True.
But we're going to try it anyway. And who cares? You're probably going to be wrong no matter what.
Exactly.
So we got Jervis, Colleen, BB, Ramona, Gretchen, Brad, Jenna, or Joel. Who is going to go home from that tribe in the next episode, perhaps?
Brad.
The Ivy League student.
Yeah, I don't like Brad.
There's no way he goes home next.
I
but
think
we'll
Brad's
see.
out.
So you think Kelly or Brad?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll be revisiting that. Overall thoughts on Survivor, man. You're a first timer, so
overall thoughts on
intrigued
Survivor.
to hear your
I never
thoughts.
thought I would be here.
Okay.
I never thought I would be in this situation watching this godforsaken show because I believe there was one point in my life where I thought anybody who is obsessed with Survivor deserves to move to a remote island and never have to see anybody ever again.
Okay.
But
I would love that.
Now that I'm here, I think that there's a reason why the show has stuck around for as long as it has. I think it has such great potential for good television. I think it can cause interpersonal relationship drama. It can cause survival drama, paranoia, excitement. You run the full gambit of emotions through this type of experience. And so I'm not surprised that it's good television. And I would imagine as the seasons progressed that production got better at picking cast members that were going to make good TV.
Totally.
But yeah, I'm into it. I'm gonna keep going.
All right, at least one more episode.
At least because I gave you two. I gave you two, and that's what we'll go.
Well, if for some reason that you can't handle a third episode, I'll find another host.
Well, so that was also that, but what was I think the deal was like I give you 2 episodes of season 1 episode, or just season 1. And then you get to pick a season if I don't like the first season. I believe that was the deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we got it live somewhere, but I'm not too worried about it. I think that it's all going to be just fine. But
how do you like season 1 as a resident Survivor expert?
I appreciate you asking. I like it so far. I like the diverse characters. I like that God, there's always an asshole. I like the older guys, not that they're likable. I just like that having them
their
on
presence.
The show. Yeah, like it's important. And and I look forward to I look forward to see how the challenges progress in the first season.
Yeah.
I want to see how quickly they go from terribly boring in the worst part of the show to at least like the second worst part of the show.
Because there's a mix of physical and like puzzle challenges.
For sure.
Right? Okay.
And there's challenges. The challenges now, I couldn't even, like, I will have to take notes on the ones now just to follow them, because the current ones are like physical into puzzle, back into physical. Like, you're just like all over the board. Like, it is crazy. So,
arguably doing too much, but that's good television.
Well, also now on the newer seasons, there's the newer, like, people are coming in with all the knowledge of the first 45 seasons.
True.
So like they have to keep it fresh, and if you're coming to Survivor, dang nabbit.
So if you get cast for Survivor, this is just you.
Yeah.
If you ever get cast for Survivor, would you like train and like get physically in the best shape of your life so you can have better chances of winning?
I'll tell you what I would do for sure. I would 100% start practicing making fire.
Okay.
That would be the first thing.
Okay.
Because you don't know this, but in the later seasons, at the end of the show, if you make it to the final 3 and you don't get immunity, or final 4 and you don't get the immunity, the person who gets immunity gets to pick 2 people to go up against each other in a fire making challenge. And whoever makes fire fastest and burns the rope at the top gets to make it to the final 3.
Okay.
And then the final 3 go up against tribal council, the last 10 people that have been voted off, and plead their case as to why they should win the $1 million. And those 10 people that they just voted off get a vote.
Right. Okay.
I'm getting goosebumps just saying that.
So building fire. You should make a tape.
I don't know if I should.
Why not? If you make a tape for Survivor, I'll make a tape for Big Brother.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I will do all of that after we get through a couple seasons of
after
this.
A couple seasons. Oh, so I have experience and can help you make the tape.
Exactly.
Sure.
There you go. So that's all I got, you guys. This is Sofa Survivors. I'm Tom Sofa.
I'm Mike Tomato.
Thank you so much, and tune in next week.
Stay tuned. Episode 2.
Bye, guys.
Au revoir.